All right, let's jump right in. What if I told you there's a tiny, almost invisible thief that's been quietly stealing money from your investments every single day? It's a detail so small that almost everyone overlooks it. But over time, the impact isn't just small, it's absolutely massive.
And this right here, this is exactly why we're talking about this today. A loss of over 2.5 lakhs on a 10 lakh investment. It just makes you wonder, how on earth can a difference of less than 2% cause that much damage? Well, that's exactly what we're going to break down.
You see, it all starts with this really common misunderstanding, something we can call the small fee myth. We're just kind of taught to believe that these tiny percentages, 1 or 2%, don't really matter in the big picture. But when it comes to investing your money for the long haul, that assumption isn't just wrong, it's dangerous.
And here's the tricky part. It's so easy to miss. This isn't some fee you get a bill for or that you pay out of your bank account. No, it's more like a slow, invisible leak inside your investment itself, all happening behind the scenes. Its official name is the expense ratio, and it's the culprit we're hunting down.
So how does this invisible thief actually work its magic? Well, it's not a charge that hits you once a year. The way it works is way more clever and honestly way more powerful because it's happening every single day.
First, let's just be super clear on what this thing is. The expense ratio is simply the annual fee your mutual fund charges to cover its costs. Paying the fund manager, admin stuff, the whole shebang. It's always shown as a percentage, but the real secret is how that percentage is actually taken from you.
And here it is, the crucial piece of the puzzle. This fee is taken out daily. It's sliced off your fund's assets every single day before they even calculate the final return, the net asset value, or NAV, that gets reported to you. You never actually see the money leaving. You just see the slightly smaller final number.
Let me walk you through it. So, step 1. Let's say your fund has a good day and earns a nice return. But wait, before that profit becomes yours, we hit step 2. The fund company takes its teeny tiny daily slice for the expense ratio. And only then, in step 3, do they declare the final NAV, which is what you actually earned. It's a brilliant and totally silent process.
To make this real, just think about this. If you have 1 lakh rupees invested in a fund with a 1.5% expense ratio, that daily cut is about 4 rupees and 10 paise. I know, it sounds like nothing, right? But that's 4 rupees that is no longer in your account, it's no longer working for you, and most importantly, it's no longer compounding. And this happens every single day.
And this, my friends, is where that tiny daily leak turns into an absolute flood. The real damage isn't the 4 rupees a day. No, it's what that 4 rupees stops from happening. The incredible magic of compounding. We're about to see just how big of a catastrophe this becomes over time.
So let's run a little experiment. We've got 2 identical funds. Both start with 10 lakh rupees. Both earn the exact same 10% gross return each year. The only thing that's different is the fee. Fund A has a 2% expense ratio. Fund B has a tiny 0.2% ratio. Let's fast forward 20 years and see what happens.
And wow, here is the jaw-dropping result. After 20 years, the high-fee Fund A grew to 46 lakh rupees. Pretty good. But the low-fee Fund B? It's sitting at 67 lakhs. Just look at that difference on the chart. That's not a small gap. That's a canyon.
Let's just put that number front and center. The total cost of that small 1.8% fee difference wasn't a few thousand rupees. It was 21 lakh rupees. 21 lakhs of your potential wealth just gone, transferred from your pocket to the fund companies, all thanks to a fee you probably never even gave a second thought.
Okay, so that was the bad news. The really good news, though, is that this is a completely avoidable problem. There is a clear, simple, and incredibly powerful solution that lets you keep way more of your money working for you.
The answer really comes down to understanding 2 types of funds. On one hand, you have actively managed funds. These have a star fund manager trying to pick winning stocks, and for that, they charge high fees, usually between 1.5 and 2.5%. On the other hand, you have passive index funds. These just automatically track an index, like the Nifty 50. They don't need an expensive manager, so their fees are drastically lower, making them way more efficient for your long-term growth.
And hey, you don't have to take my word for it. This is advice straight from one of the greatest investors of all time, Warren Buffett. For years, he has told people to invest in low-cost index funds for this very reason. Keeping your costs low is one of the surest ways to end up with more money in the long run.
So, now that you know this, what do you actually do? How do you make sure your own portfolio is safe from this invisible thief? Let's lay out a super clear, actionable plan. Here is your new mandate as an investor. First, tonight, go and look up the expense ratio for every single fund you own. It's in the documents. Second, compare those numbers to what a low-cost passive fund charges. Third, punch your numbers into an online calculator and see the long-term impact for yourself. The math doesn't lie. Your mission is simple. Cut costs like there's no tomorrow, because every single rupee you save on fees is another soldier fighting for your financial future.
And that brings us to the one big question I want to leave you with. You're probably focused on how fast your money is compounding, and that's great. But now you have to ask yourself, are my fees compounding just as fast, working against me every single step of the way? Now you know how to find the answer, and more importantly, you know exactly what to do about it.